Okay, so next up, our next presentation, my boss and friend. She is currently the head of protocol engineering here at ChainSafe. She is the implementer, maybe people don't know this, but she is the implementer of ETH Monero atomic swaps, which is a super cool thing. She also wrote the Golang implementation for both linkable ring signatures as well as Snorkel signatures, which is amazing work. She's done extensive work on the ChainSafe products, both related to our Mina Rust implementation and our Polkadot host Gossamer, which is what I work on. In her free time, she likes to hang out with her pet rats, and she is very passionate about them. So feel free to ask her about her rats. And according to her Twitter, she's been keeping it vague since a while ago. I would like to invite up my friend, Elizabeth Binks.
Hello.
Elizabeth, welcome. We're stoked to have you.
Yeah. Thanks for the intro, Jimmy.
Oh yeah. I have to not get fired. No, but so you're going to be here talking about Gossamer. Maybe for just a moment before, because I think we have a little bit of time before we get into that, could you tell us a little bit about the hackathon project you did recently and what is up with these atomic swaps?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I started the ETH Monero atomic swap project at ETH Lisbon, so over a month ago now, I guess. And I'm going to fill in the comments. Sorry. Yeah, so I started that about a month or so ago. Been working on it since then. Recently tried it on the Arbitrum Mainnet L2, which I think Dan posted the crypto news article about. So yeah, so got a news article. So yeah, just continuing developing on that. Yeah, I don't know. That's about it.
How did you end up choosing that as a hackathon project?
Um,
Like why Monero? Have you been into Monero for a while? I know you're active in Ethereum and Polkadot and such, but how did Monero come into play here?
yeah, like, I mean, I've been like a casual fan of it for a while, ever since I did my ring signature thesis project a few years ago. So I was
As
kind of
the casual
inspired.
fan does.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, what's it called? Yeah, I got into like the ring CT and like all that kind of jazz around then. Kind of followed it, liked the tech, and then at the hackathon, well, Bitcoin and Monero atomic swaps came out earlier this year, so I was kind of inspired by that, I guess. And then for the hackathon, I needed an ETH-related project, and that wasn't implemented yet, so I thought it would be a good idea to start that. So that's kind of how it happened.
Well, awesome, great work. It's the fact that you and other people also, but the fact you guys whipped that up in a hackathon is very admirable and just amazing work. And so I know you're here to present, so I'll let you get to that. And I'm excited to see what you have in store. So yeah, the floor is yours.
Cool. Okay, thanks, Jimmy. Okay, cool. Hello, everyone. So I'm gonna share my presentation to start off. So yeah, I'm just gonna start with, I think, can everyone see this? I'm gonna make it bigger. Cool. So yeah, I guess to start off, so yeah, I'm going to start off with just a little intro about Gossamer and yeah, and kind of where it's at, like how it relates to Polkadot and that kind of thing. And then I'll go into a bit of a demo, so showing syncing Polkadot and Kusama and as well using the front end. So yeah, cool. So just to start off, so I'm Elizabeth. Yeah, I have been working at ChainSafe for almost 4 years now, working on various projects in my time. So I've been working on Gossamer for almost 3 years, I think. So since the beginning, so quite familiar with it. And yeah, just currently working on all the different protocol implementations we have going on. So yeah, so just to start, what is Gossamer exactly? So I don't know if there's been any Polkadot presentations thus far, so I'll just give a quick kind of Polkadot overview. So it's one from Moonbeam. Okay, cool. Well, I'll make it quicker then. So Polkadot is just an L0 kind of interoperability protocol. So you have like a relay chain, and then you have parachains that all have independent runtimes. And then they all connect to each other via the relay chain and participate in shared security. So yeah, it's kind of a nice way to have chains interop and all have shared security and cross-chain message passing and all that kind of nice stuff you want. So what is Gossamer? So it's a Go implementation of the Polkadot host. So the Polkadot host is essentially all the stuff that a Polkadot node needs to run that isn't the runtime. So what's kind of special about Polkadot is that it has a runtime, which is like the state transition logic, which is just a WASM binary. So this can easily be swapped out. And also, yeah, so the substrate blockchain framework, which Polkadot is built with, really I guess showcases this. So with Substrate, you can easily build your own blockchain just by plugging in a runtime. So yeah, so Gossamer is essentially analogous to Substrate in that regard, in that you can just plug in a WASM binary runtime and kind of just run your chain. And as well, yeah, it's compatible with Polkadot. So you can use it to run a Polkadot node, or in the future, build a Polkadot compatible parachain. So yeah, so the two main kind of functions of the Polkadot host are for importing a runtime and easily launch a chain with custom logic. And then the second is just creating a Polkadot compatible chain that might potentially become a parachain one day if you want. So yeah, so the current status of Gossamer is that we can act as a Polkadot Kusama full node. So we can sync the entire network. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then also we're compatible with existing tooling such as Polkadot.js and the Polkadot telemetry site. And then we're currently relating to our future plan. So our future plan is to interoperate with Polkadot as an authority node or validator node, so not just as a syncing node. So this will allow people to stake using Gossamer and to get rewards and build blocks, participate in finality, and all that kind of good stuff that a real node can do. So so currently we're running an internal Gossamer DevNet with Gossamer only nodes, and then trying to fix all the bugs there and get that nice and stable. And then after that, we're going to move to the cross-client DevNet. So this will be Gossamer and Substrate together to test the authority functionality. And then after that, we'll hopefully be able to go on the West End testnet, and then eventually Kusama, and then eventually Polkadot. So yeah, that's kind of our roadmap there. Cool. And then a little aside, so the Polkadot host can't become a parachain on its own. You can use it to make a standalone chain, but it doesn't act as a parachain, as the parachains require some additional functionality that will connect the parachain to the relay chain. So in Rust, this is implemented with Parity's Cumulus project, which kind of wraps Substrate and allows the Substrate node to become a parachain. So ChainSafe has received a grant from the Web3 Foundation to build Go Cumulus. So this will be a Go implementation of Cumulus. So this will allow Gossamer chains to become parachains essentially. So yeah, you'll be able to in the future build fully fledged parachains with Gossamer. And as well, if you have a parachain and you want some alternative client, you could use Gossamer and Go Cumulus to have another client on your parachain. So yeah, so some of the kind of higher level project goals for Gossamer. One of our main ones is just becoming a modular blockchain framework that's really on par with Substrate. So yeah, so right now we're a Polkadot host. So we have all the functionality, I suppose, like in terms of like consensus and networking, into the database, tree, etc. But we really want to make it super modular, so that's really easy to swap out the consensus layer, for example, which I believe Moonbeam has done. I think I got that correct. And then as well, being able to easily swap out things like a tree implementation or the database, and just like making it really well documented and easy for people to really use it as a framework. And then as well as just to increase client diversity in the Polkadot ecosystem. So yeah, so essentially alternative clients, like we want more than just one client running on the ecosystem for both like the relay chain and parachains. So yeah, that's kind of where Gossamer comes in. Okay, cool. So I will move to the demo section of the code, or of the workshop, of the presentation, sorry. So let me share and unshare. I don't know how exactly this is gonna work. I don't want to share my browser. Okay, there's some recursion happening, so I'm just gonna get rid of this for now, and if there's some issue, just like Jimmy unmute and tell me, please. Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna make this bigger. So yeah, so the first thing I'm gonna show is just running a Polkadot or Kusama full node. Make this a bit bigger too, why not? So I'm just gonna go to the Gossamer repo, make sure I'm on the development branch, I'm up to date. Okay, I think I'm up to date. So I'm just gonna build Gossamer again. And then yeah, then this places the Gossamer binary in the bin folder. So running a Polkadot or Kusama full node is pretty straightforward. You can just start it with the -- chain Kusama or Polkadot flag. So I'm just going to show that to start. So yeah, I'm just going to run a Polkadot node. I think I was already syncing this before, so it's going to start not at Genesis. But if you run it for the first time, it'll start at Genesis. So yeah, you should see that it starts syncing shortly. So right now there's no peers yet, but it should start to grab some peers. Okay, here we go. So we have 10 peers now. And then sometimes it takes like a few seconds or a minute or so to start syncing. We should see that happening shortly. Okay, cool. So I'm on telemetry now. So you can see at the top, this is my node strategy witness. Yeah, my location, Gossamer, the version of Gossamer it's running, the current peer count. So 16, yeah, should be 18 now. The highest block on the chain, and the hash, and then this is the highest finalized, I believe. Yeah, so highest block, highest finalized. So I'll give it a second for it to start syncing. It's taking a bit longer than usual this time, but it should start shortly. Sometimes it waits till it gets like a lot more peers to start. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Give it a minute there. So how many peers do we have? Okay, it's taking a bit longer than usual. Normally it takes not this long to start. I don't know if I should like restart it or something, but all right. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, I think it's starting. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's starting. Okay, cool. I don't know why it was so slow. Maybe I have like some other weird stuff happening on my computer. Yeah. So yeah, so slowly you'll see the block number creep up, and hopefully soon the finalized block will creep up as well. Yeah, I'll let it hang out for a while because I feel like maybe it's like around one of those. It's doing some heavy lifting, I think. That's why it's so slow. As long as that happens. Okay, I'll show Kusama now. Oh, CD, ChainSafe Gossamer. So for Kusama, it's the same kind of idea. Just run it with chain Kusama. And then let's go to telemetry. Okay, here we go. So it just showed up as well. So Mule Castle. So yeah, same kind of idea. You can see the head of the chain, and the finalize, and that kind of thing. Okay, I don't know why this is so slow. I'm gonna reinitialize it and start again. Because I feel like sometimes the chains can be a little, there's some sections that are heftier to sync than others. Cool. So let's give these a bit of time. Oops. I'll find the node. What was this called? Sponsor adopt. Okay, here we go. All right. So maybe this will start syncing shortly. Okay, whatever. I'll just leave them for now. Cool. Okay. So running a Gossamer development node. So I'm going to show running Gossamer dev node and then just what's it called? Running the substrate front end to interact with it. I'm going to put these away for now. So okay, so to run the dev node, you just run it with chain dev. I'm gonna reinitialize it because I was running it before. So the dev node essentially is a node that's configured to have just one node running on the network, and this one node will build a block every slot and also just finalize blocks as well. So it's such just like a standalone node that you can run. Oh, sorry. So start it with the WebSockets port for our front end. Okay. So yeah, so you just run it with the WebSockets enabled, and this allows the front end to connect. So yeah, so cool. So the substrate front end. So let me go to that. See substrate front end template. So I already built it. I put the instructions here, but I'm not going to rebuild it because I already built it. So I'm just going to start it. Oh my God, what happened here? Oh, I think it's the node version. Okay. Let's hope this fixes it. That would be concerning if it didn't. Okay, cool. It's just the version. Okay. Cool. So yeah, once it starts, it should look something like this. I don't know if you can see this. It's probably really small, but you can do all sorts of interactions with the node. So yeah, I'll just wait for that to start and then show that. You can see like the dev node is just building blocks every 3 seconds or so. So that's cool. I'll just shove that over there. It's taking kind of long. I feel like I have some other stuff like running on my computer or something. It's causing it to be slow. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, fine, it's starting. Okay. Let me check and see that the Okay, maybe this server didn't start. Maybe because I have the other nodes running. Let me just kind of stop these for now. Whatever, I'll check them after. Okay. Come on. Bind already in use. Oh, I have freaking Nosh running. Okay, sorry, let me kill it. Oh my god, I can't believe Nosh got me. Okay, kill it. Okay, now it should work. Wow, okay. Yeah. Watch for the port conflicts, everyone. Okay, now it should connect, hopefully. Okay, cool. So yeah, okay, finally the front end showing. Okay, cool. So now you can see, yes, it's connected to Gossamer, same version as before. It's the current block, current head finalized block. You can check out the node runtime metadata. This is kind of for like the API usage. So yeah, it shows like what palettes and stuff are in the runtime. So the dev runtime runs just the substrate default runtime, except configured to let the blocks be authored every slot. But otherwise, the logic is the same. So you can see also the dev node comes with a few pre-allocated accounts. So we have from Alice to Fruity, and they all have some mGoss. So I guess to start, I will just show transferring some mGoss, or some Goss. So the M is just the million Goss or mega Goss. So I'm going to transfer from Alice to Bob. I'll do 1 mGoss so you can actually see the units change. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, wait, this times that. 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool, let's try this. So if this, okay, cool. So it's in the pool and now in the ready queue and should be in the next block. Okay, cool. So yeah, so it was included in some block with the transaction hash, and we can see that the balance was moved from Alice to Bob. So yeah, so nice for doing some transactions and that kind of thing. You can also interact with all the palettes. So yeah, you can submit calls to the palettes, that kind of thing. You can query the palettes. So I can query, for example, let's check the current authorities, for example. So these are our current authorities. So there's Alice all the way to, I think, I forget what the 9th one is, like George or Ian or something like that. Yeah, you can query the palettes. You can check current slot, that kind of thing. So yeah, our current slot. You can check for constants as well in the palettes. So you can check the epoch duration. It's 200 slots. Expected walk time should be 3 seconds. Yeah, so 3,000 milliseconds. We can also make RPC calls to the node. So yeah, I guess the reason that the Gossamer node just works with the substrate front end is because the Gossamer node implements the same JSON RPC interface that substrate nodes do. So you can, yeah, so you can just call, yeah, you can call all the same RPC methods as substrate. So we can do, for example, we can try to get some block hash for some block number. Let's get it for like block 10 or something like that. And then, so we have the block hash now. And now we can query for like the full block, for example. Okay, come on, gonna work. Maybe get header. Okay, interesting. Did I copy pasta this right? Okay, so okay, interesting. Don't know why it's not working, but some of the calls work. So yeah, anyways. Cool. So I guess the last thing I can show is the runtime upgrade. So like I mentioned earlier, one of the big, I don't know, innovative points, I guess, of Substrate is that the runtime is just some WASM binary. So this WASM binary actually lives on chain in the state tree. So you're able to submit a transaction to upgrade the state tree code, and as well that upgrades the whole entire state logic of the entire chain as well. So it's nice for some forkless state transition updates. So cool. So I'll show the runtime. So the runtime that I'm going to update is essentially, so I mentioned earlier the Gossamer dev node just runs the Substrate default runtime. So what I'm showing here is the Substrate default runtime, but I'm just going to change the name to be Gossamer node. So I'll quickly show the previous name of the node, or sorry, the name of the runtime version. So it was, so yeah, so you can see that the name was Substrate node and the implementation version was 0. So I just updated this to be named Gossamer node, increase the implementation version as well as specified in the comment. So I already rebuilt this already. I'm not going to build it because it might take a while. So yeah, so I'm just going to, what is happening? Okay, so cool. I'm just going to try to upload that and then hopefully it works. So Substrate, target, debug, rebuild. Awesome. Cool. And then I also put instructions in the doc that I'll share after on how to build the runtime as well. So if you want to, I don't know, try it out yourself, you can do that. Cool. So let's hit that upgrade button and see what happens. Okay, cool. So it looks like it's going to hopefully be included. So it's in the ready queue now. And should be in a block shortly. Oh, okay, there we go. Cool. So as you can tell, a lot of stuff just happened. So yeah, so here we go. So the node detected a runtime code change, and it's upgrading at this block hash. So the previous code hash was this, and this is a new code hash. So I don't know, I previously fixed this issue. Okay, 1 second. Okay, this, okay, sorry, I fixed this earlier and I thought it got merged, but maybe it didn't get merged. Big yeah, this should be correct. Okay. I don't know why that didn't work, but I'm going to do that again. I'm just going to reinitialize it. Well, the runtime upgrade worked, but then it didn't like the new runtime for some reason, which I thought was fixed, but sometimes these things don't work as intended. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, cool. Let me just like do a quick transfer to see, make sure things still work. Okay. Constant, let's query that system version again. Okay, it's queried. Okay, I'm gonna try upgrading again. Hoping it works this time. I'm not sure why. I kind of didn't like it before, but okay, should be in a block shortly. Okay, cool. So it's now in a block. Gonna hope this works, but we'll see. Wow, okay. So this was fixed previously, and now it's not fixed. So whatever. I'm just gonna query the runtime version again. Oh, now it's working. What the hell? So it's like, okay, so it is still building blocks, but there's just a lot of error logs for some reason. Okay. All right, I'll look into that after. But cool. So I'm just gonna query the system version again, and it should be updated to Gossamer node. Okay, cool. Yeah, so now it says Gossamer node, and the version is updated from before. So runtime upgrade was successful. Error logs are just, I don't know, false flags, I guess. But yeah, so that's kind of that's the front end. So it's, pretty nice for, if you don't need to deal with all the stuff that Polkadot.js apps includes, such as like stuff for staking and like nominating validators and that kind of thing. I think the front end is really nice for just development purposes and just like easily submitting transactions and that kind of thing. So I would highly recommend using it if you're developing with Substrate or Gossamer. Cool. So I think that's basically all for now. I guess I'll share this after. At the bottom of the link, I have another link to my previous talk I did earlier this year. That was like a bit of a longer talk, so there's a bit of extra info in there if you want to read it. But that's basically all. So hope you enjoyed. I can stop sharing now.
No, that was awesome.
Cool.
Like I'm literally on this team, and live runtime upgrades still blow my mind. So no, super awesome stuff. We have a couple questions. If you have a second to answer a couple of these.
Yeah, for sure.
So the first one, and I think you are the person to give insight to this, is how did ChainSafe come up with the name Gossamer?
Oh, I mean, I just came up with it. I was reading a lot of books to find a good name for the project. And so I'm happy to say that the name came from William Gibson's Neuromancer, a classic cyberpunk novel. It's from there's some sentence in there that has the word Gossamer, and I was like, wow, perfect word. I love it. So yeah.
Beautiful. It's almost poetic.
It has the word go. That's all I wanted. So it's like kind of like an abstract word, I guess. It's like, it's one of those like unique words that you have in the English language.
Oh yeah.
So I like
You're right. No, that's amazing. Great stuff. It's the origin story.
Yes.
So the next question is, do you know if there are plans to build Substrate in Go?
I would say Gossamer is meant to be Substrate in Go. Like it essentially, in that way, so our current focus is more becoming like a Polkadot staking / authority node. But our long-term plan for Gossamer is to have it be like analogous to Substrate. So like you will be able to kind of do all the same stuff with Substrate that you can do with Gossamer in the end. So in terms of whether there are plans, yes. So keep your eyes peeled for
Stay in touch. Yes. So the next question, great question. Are you to the point yet of benchmarking sync speeds versus the Polkadot client written in Rust? Yeah,
for sure. So the sync speed in Gossamer, we haven't like formally benchmarked it, but I don't know if you guys saw when I was like running the node, but it says like the sync speed, it just like logs it. But we have like some metrics, I guess, as well. But so this sync speed is a bit slower than Substrate at the moment. Not surprising considering, I don't know, we're Go and we're still like kind of in development. But I think the Substrate node It also depends on whether you run an archive node or a full node. So Gossamer by default is archive, so it's slower. If you run a substrate archive node and the Gossamer archive node, I think the substrate node will be like sometimes like 50 blocks per second, and Gossamer will be like, I don't know, 25 or so. So it's probably like half the speed in general, I'd say. But same order of magnitude of sync speed, I would like to say. So it's not like too far off, and I think moving forward we'll be able to hopefully reach substrate speed levels. So yeah. And yeah,
Okay.
compile time is way faster. Yes, as Dan mentioned, compile time is faster. So
True.
it counts for
Yes.
Yeah.
So then the last question we have on the board over here is, what has been the most difficult aspect of Gossamer's development?
Okay, yeah, great question. So there's been various difficulties, I guess. I guess at the first year or so of the project, I'd say it was the most difficult, just because there was a lot of new technology that we were using that had literally like never been used for this before. So I guess one of the main ones I can think of is the WASM interpreter. So I don't know if you guys know, but WASM and Go are like not really best friends. Like WASM and Rust are definitely way more compatible. So there weren't really a lot of like Go WASM interpreters. Like there's only really like bindings to like Rust interpreters, and as well like just it's not really like something that's documented, like using WASM in the backend like this, like because it's mostly for browser. So it wasn't really, definitely like there was no documentation for like how to use Go like this to run WASM. So that was kind of the one of the hardest parts initially, I'd say. Just because it was super new, no one really had done it, and yeah, it was just complicated, I guess. But yeah, other than that, I mean, the consensus stuff has been pretty challenging as well, I'd say, just because like running a authority node that performs all the like block building and finality votes and stuff can be, there's just like so much stuff that can go wrong, and like if anything goes wrong, like you just really don't want that to happen. Like you need the algorithm to be essentially like perfect to go on mainnet. So that's just been taking like it's been taking a long time. It's kind of been really challenging in that regard, just getting all of that kind of interoperable, I suppose. So yeah, those are the main challenges. It's kind of long, but yeah.
That's pick from the list. Well, great presentation. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm super stoked to see what the future of Gossamer is. I'm on the team, so that's part of the reason, but I'm stoked anyways. So everyone should keep up with it. Keep up with Elizabeth. She does awesome work. Thank you so much for presenting.
Yeah, thank you, Jimmy. Bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.